Well, I figured I better make a short video of the meat grinder in action. Yeah, I only have about, I think about 6 or 7 pounds of meat that I'm going to run through there. And then at the very end, I got some bread there that I'll run through, try to get most of the meat out of the grinder. One thing I wanted to mention though is you'll hear this if you watch any YouTube videos about you know, they want you to keep the meat real cold before you run it through the grinder, and I've had issues with that. I think I had some meat that was a little bit too warm, and it was pork shoulder, so there was a lot of fat. And what happens is once that fat warms up, it doesn't liquefy, but it gets kind of gelatinous, and it doesn't want to it'll plug up your grinder. And you can kind of see here. Let me take this apart. Everything has to get passed, you know, all the meat and fat and everything has to get passed through this plate, and you can see all those little holes in there. So you can imagine meat and fat in each one of those little holes. It takes quite a force to push all that through. There's your cutter blade. Yeah, everything is getting pushed through. Oh, I don't know if you can see this, but everything is getting pushed through. I'm going to turn this by hand. By that screw, right? And that screw needs something fairly solid to grab onto in order to push things forward. But you can see that it's not totally sealed, right? So like right in here, let's say if you had a liquid and it's getting pushed through this way, it'll just kind of squirt back up into the body of this grinder, and it'll coat, you know, the whole screw mechanism, and then it's real hard to get the meat to feed through. So that's something to keep in mind. Keep that meat to where it's almost frozen. In fact, I just cut the meat up into small cubes. I'm just cutting them up into about 1-inch cubes, and just to keep them small so that the grinder doesn't have to, you know, grind a big frozen chunk. Puts a lot of stress on the grinder. So yeah, I cube it up into 1-inch cubes, and I put it in the freezer for about an hour. That seems to be a good amount where it's not quite frozen solid, but it's real cold, and then it feeds through the grinder a little bit easier. Okay, here we go.